First tonight, hazmat crews from all across our area responded to a chemical leak this afternoon in Rock Island. The chemical was so strong that it was burning through the concrete there. News 8's Christy Mergenthal has the latest.
It was just before 1 o'clock Thursday afternoon when hazmat crews were called to the Rock Island water treatment plant for a chemical spill coming from this tanker truck.
It's a corrosive agent that the water treatment plant uses, and there was an overflow that caused spillage out from the building onto this driveway behind me.
As plant employees evacuated, crews began suiting up, working quickly to stop the leak that had begun eating through concrete.
And they stopped the leak using some earthen berms with dirt, sand, and some commercial boom equipment, and had it contained pretty much to this facility within a short amount of time.
The chemical hydrofluosilicic acid is used to add fluoride to the plant's water. Although it poses a burn risk to skin, those living nearby were in no immediate danger.
There's no inhalation hazard at all, so there was no need for us to evacuate any residents around the area.
After several hours, crews were able to clean up the leak, allowing operations to return to normal.
They had to cordon off the area, obviously, but as far as the treatment of the water and the amount of water being used by the public, there's no effect on that at all.
In Rock Island, Christy Mergenthal, WQAD Quad Cities, News 8.
Thank you, Christy. Investigators tonight still haven't given an official estimate on just how much of that chemical spilled out.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Don't worry about it. The hazmat crews came in. They sucked that fluoride right out of the concrete, and they dumped it right back into your water supply. Wow, that looks really, really tasty. What a beautiful smile you have. A beautiful smile. You got a great smile. Look at all that beautiful fluoride. It's doing its great stuff, burning holes in concrete. And now you're drinking it every single day for the rest of your life. Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Danny Litt Show. I'm your host, Danny Litt. And for those who know me, this is going to be a very important show, artificial water fluoridation. But as always, let's start by taking 3 deep breaths in through the nose all the way. And let it out with some sound. Again. Third time's a charm all the way. Wow, I feel better. So look, this has been an ongoing fight for decades. For decades, 70 years roughly. And the reason for this podcast today, I don't expect these governments to do anything, but I am hoping that with this podcast today, there is one person that I reach that is going to stop using fluoridated water and fluoridated toothpaste immediately. And if I can get through to one person out there with this podcast, that means that today it was a great day. It was a worthwhile podcast for you to open your eyes and see what's going on. And with that video, if you still don't see what's going on and how scary this actually is, I don't know what to tell you. This stuff is nasty. Burns holes in concrete skin, and in high enough doses, it is extremely lethal. But there is good news because it looks like more information is becoming available, and I'm going to be sharing a lot of that with you today. So, we just had RFK come out and tweet that on January 20th, the Trump White House will advise all U.S. water systems to remove the fluoride from the public water. So, I don't mean to make fun of you, RFK, but it has been 6 weeks, and where is the directive? We saw how quickly Donald Trump can sign an executive order and get things done. This needs to get done now. The good news is that RFK brought a lot of attention to this issue with his tweet. He says fluoride is an industrial waste associated with arthritis, bone fractures, bone cancer, IQ loss, neurodevelopmental disorders, and thyroid disease. President Trump and First Lady Melania want to make America healthy again, at Michael P. Conant. Michael's the son of Paul Conant, one of the founders of the Fluoride Action Network in the United States. I met Paul quite a few times. If you're out there, Paul, thank you for all the work that you've done over the past few decades to get fluoride out of the water in the United States and around the world. Your contribution has been so massive. Thank you. Thank you very much. So in the very least, RFK is at least bringing some attention to this issue. So I guess I should explain how I got into this topic of water fluoridation. So back in 2011, when I was working for a large coffee roasting facility, I had a client that asked me, Danny, how do I get rid of fluoride in the water for my customers I'm serving coffee to? And I said, I don't know. I have no idea. I'm going to look into it for you. Contacted some friends in water filtration, and they said, Danny, it's very difficult. You basically need an RO system, reverse osmosis. It's very expensive, $5,000 to $10,000 with installation. You have to monitor the filters. The filters are extremely expensive to replace. The unit is noisy, and there's a ton of wastewater. So for every 1 liter of water you produce, you're going to waste approximately 4 liters of water in that water filtration process. So this led me down a rabbit hole. Why is fluoride so difficult to remove from the water? Your standard Brita filter in your fridge does nothing for fluoride. And what I found was fluoride as an ion has a very small size. It is a very small ion. However, it is highly reactive. And that means that even though it's very small and passes through most filters, it has a very big punch on the brain, the body, and your mind. And I'm going to get into that. So what is fluoride? There we go. So what is fluoride? So there's calcium fluoride. This is what's considered a naturally occurring fluoride. It comes from fluorite, and this is very prevalent in the Earth's crust, but this is not what is being used to fluoridate the water supply. Next, we have sodium fluoride. This is what you find in your toothpaste. This is highly water soluble, and it is a filtered form of fluoride, filtered to remove impurities such as calcium, or such as mercury, cadmium, lead, arsenic, and radionuclides. And this is the stuff that most people know because of their toothpaste. So when you look on your toothpaste bottle, it says, do not swallow. If more than a pea-sized amount of fluoride is swallowed, of this toothpaste is swallowed, contact poison control immediately. So here's a question. If your toothpaste says, do not swallow the fluoride, only fluoridated toothpaste says this. There's no poison control warning on a non-fluoridated toothpaste. If the toothpaste says, do not swallow, contact poison control, why is it in our water? Why is fluoride in our water that we drink every single day for our entire lives? How does that make sense? The answer is it doesn't. It's absolutely ludicrous. If you or your children are still using fluoridated toothpaste, I implore you today to get it out immediately. Replace it immediately. You do not need it. You can use a non-fluoridated product that will be just as effective for you with proper dental care. They provide all these fun flavors, mints and bubble gums to make it even more appealing for a child to swallow this stuff. And it is nasty. There's a reason there's a poison control warning on it. And once again, sodium fluoride, the stuff that's poison in your toothpaste, is not even what they are using to fluoridate the water supply. Here we go. Hexafluorosilicic acid. The city of Toronto is using fluorosilicic acid, hydrofluoro or hydrofluosilicic acid to fluoridate the water supply. This is an industrial waste product. As RFK said in his tweet, this is a waste product that is being used to deliver fluoride to us in our water supplies. So what do you mean a waste product? A co-product in the production of phosphate fertilizers. Where does this come from? This is where fluoride comes from. You see, this is Bartow, Florida. And you see all these square lakes? Very strange. Now, like, look at all these square lakes. That's a little strange. Why are they square? The answer is they're square because they're not lakes at all. These are tail ponds. These are tail ponds. So an industrial waste byproduct, this comes from the phosphate fertilizer industry. This company in particular, Mosaic, is one of the largest phosphate fertilizer companies in the world. They dig up the earth to make phosphate fertilizer to ship to their customers. However, they can't just do that. They need to treat the product first because it's so contaminated with mercury and lead and arsenic. So how do they do that? Well, they'll dig up the earth, and then they will send the earth through a heating process. They used to take that heat and simply allow the smoke to escape through smokestacks. And this smoke would then fall back on the land and have a devastating effect on the plant and animal life, killing many animals in the process. And finally, people had enough and said, okay, well, this is clearly not working. We need to do something about all of this waste. So what did they start doing? They started misting the smokestacks. So all of this here is the mist. They would mist the smokestacks. All of that waste and all that contamination would then fall and drip into these tail ponds. That's what these are. These are tail ponds. So going back to this video, trucks like this are literally pulling up to these tail ponds, sucking this chemical, hydrofluosilicic acid, out of these tail ponds and delivering it directly to your water supply. Directly to your water supply. The city of Toronto, for example, they filter the water first, and then they add this product, hydrofluosilicic acid, after. So I did a Freedom of Information Act request back in 2018. I'm sure this is still relevant. And you can see this is one of the quality control documents from Mosaic. Brentag Canada and Control Chem Canada are redistributors of this product, this chemical. They purchase it from Mosaic, and then they would sell it to the city of Toronto. You can see fluorosilicic acid. It's from Riverview, Florida. And what do we have here? It's contaminated with arsenic. It's contaminated with arsenic. So like I said, they filter the water, they test the water, and then they use this product to fluoridate the water, which is known to be contaminated with arsenic, which is a cancer-causing agent. The EPA themselves were asked about this, and they found that pharmaceutical-grade sodium fluoride contains about 100 times less arsenic than fluorosilicic acid does, and therefore carries a 100-fold lower risk of cancer. So these people know that they could be using a pure, refined version of fluoride to use to fluoridate the water supply. But they then said, nonetheless, the EPA said the cost of switching to sodium fluoride is prohibitive. It is prohibitive. So we know that we are putting arsenic in the water. We know that we could be spending a little bit more money and getting something filtered, but we're not going to do that because we're okay with putting a product in the water that is causing cancer. It's prohibitive to stop cancer. Grits. Oh, the money is flowing through you. So much money. Yeah. Okay, so like I said, it goes on and on, okay? It goes on and on. I'm asking you today to take some steps for yourself and for your family to remove the fluoride from your water immediately. You can get a water distiller if you have smaller consumption, or for home, I highly recommend reverse osmosis. Spend between $600 to $1,200 and you get yourself a system that can produce a high amount of water, fluoride free, and you can remineralize it yourself after the fact. And there are many reasons why you need to be doing this now, immediately. When I quit drinking fluoridated water about 13 years ago, I found a strong connection to source, much better focus and concentration. I didn't zone out as much, tune out as much. I felt much more in touch, and I just felt better. So like I said at the beginning, if there's just one person that I can get through to today with this podcast, and you take the action now to get the fluoride out of your water supply, please, this podcast will be worthwhile for me. Thank you so much. Now, a few more reasons why a few more reasons why you got to look at this. The studies go on and on, okay? Now there are over 78 studies. There's over 78 studies reporting lowered IQ with higher fluoride intake, okay? So if you could save yourself 5 points on the IQ scale, what is that worth to you? To me, it's worth everything. I am definitely clearer after removing the fluoride from my life. There are studies showing high correlation between hypersensitivity, brain, endocrine, dental and skeletal fluorosis, kidney, liver, arthritis, cancer. It goes on and on. But one of the most important things I can tell you is fluoride calcifies the pineal gland. This is a fact. The pineal gland is a gland that's located right in between your two eyes. They call it the third eye for a reason. It allows you to have a much stronger connection to source, and it calcifies it. So the second you remove fluoride, the healing process begins. You're allowing new blood to flow through your body, your bones, and into your pineal gland. This is going to enhance your meditation. This is going to enhance your connection to God. So please get it out immediately. A couple last things I have to touch upon. Besides the ethics, okay, of adding a medicine to the water supply, there is no informed consent when we have to drink a medically treated water. There's no informed consent. But besides the ethics of how ridiculous it is to medicate an entire population through the water supply, it also makes zero scientific sense because we all drink a different amount of water. A child might drink a liter a day and get 0.6 milligrams of fluoride, while an athlete or a fireman has 10 liters of water a day, and they're getting 6 milligrams per day of this drug every single day for the rest of their life. So besides the ethics, using the water supply doesn't make any sense because we all drink a different amount of water. I wanted to mention a couple things here. This is a beautiful site, fluoridefreecanada.ca. This site is run by very, very good people. They are continuing the fight today as we speak. They have an incredible section, who fluoridates and who does not. And you can see all across Canada who is still fluoridating their water. This is a great resource if you're concerned about if your local municipality is fluoridating the water or not. I highly recommend you go to fluoridefreecanada.ca. And if you can, send them a little love. A little donation would help. These guys are working very hard to end the practice, and these are good people. You can also check out nfluoridetoronto.com. I started this website about 12 years ago. I haven't really upkept it, but it's a great site with lots of information. I used to spend a lot of time on this until life takes its turns. You know, that's what happens. Finally, if you would like to take it even further, there is a strong disconnect between the people and the government. However, these people are supposed to work for us. If you are in a fluoridated community, especially Toronto, I'm going to post all this in the description. Here is your local counselor link. I don't know if you've ever contacted your local counselor, but it would be great if you could send them an email, pick up the phone, make a call and say, you know, I don't agree with this practice and I would like to see the medication in our water supply removed. They will most definitely refer to the chief medical officer of health and say, I don't know anything about this. I don't know anything about it. We just continue to do it based on the chief medical officer of health. So don't ask me. I'm just, following orders. And that's fine, but just continue to follow up with them and send an email. Send one email. Make one phone call. I mean, have you ever done that before? The world needs people like you out there to do that. But at the end of the day, like I said, the main purpose for this podcast is, one, I've been researching this for a long time. Two, I want you to take control of your water immediately. Get the fluoride out of your water today, and I promise you, give it a few months, you're going to see how much better you feel. It will change your life. And this is one step on the road to a new, beautiful spiritual future that you can create. And it's so easy to start today. Let's get the fluoride out of the water. My thoughts and prayers are with RFK. Please, God, make them get rid of the water fluoridation across the United States. And let's end it in Canada once and for all, following 95% of the world. This is a ridiculous practice. There's big money being made, and it's enough. Thank you so much for your time, ladies and gentlemen. As always, I'm sending you so much love, so much gratitude for everybody out there. I don't know how your day is going, but I wish you a beautiful day with lots of love. And let's look out for each other, everybody. God bless. Have a great day.